Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our May General Council meeting today. Hopefully, this is kind of too early for lunch, I guess. Hopefully, you get to use your coupon to order something. Yes, so let's go over today's agenda very quick. So at first,
okay.
Oh, hello.
I was having speaker issues.
Good. So, and welcome everyone. At first, we'll just welcome our two leadership members. And then Catherine, our regional director, will talk a little bit about our 2020 impacts and some current waivers for this year. And we'll have some school districts, Jennifer from Garland ISD and Julie from DISD, Dallas ISD, to talk a little bit about how they approach to summer this year. And also we'll have Anna, she's one of our new leadership team members, to talk a little bit about how to reach out to smaller communities, how to engage them, especially with the current situation now. And also Ty from City Square, they're gonna talk about how to reach out to our sites and how to host a good kickoff event for our summer. And also we'll share a little bit about the resources that we have, as well as a grant opportunity as well. So again, welcome our two new leadership team members. They are gonna be one of our speakers today. So hopefully you guys will get to know a little bit more about them and their organizations as well. So let's get started. Catherine wants to start us for our first presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I know some of you are a week away from starting your summer meal site, so thank you tremendously for being here during this chaotic summer and chaotic year. So I just wanted to briefly, we always share the numbers of what the last summer looked like in comparison to the year before. And I wanted to share that again because I think the data is incredibly interesting this year. It shows a reflection of what happens when we remove some of the restrictions on the meals and what we could potentially, the impact we could have for children. So here is an analysis for the whole state of Texas for the summer of 2019 compared to 2020. And as you guys can see, we had a significant increase in meals, especially in SSO meals. We had more SSO sponsors, which I'll show in a minute, and we had more summer, just regular summer meals being served. And I think that's really due to the fact that, we removed congregate feeding, you could do the bulk meal pickup. A lot of that allowed for flexibility for families to participate in the program. So overall, we had 38,000 more or 38 million more meals served. Sorry, I forgot a zero. And that was a 249% increase across the state, which is huge. I think we all should give each other a round of applause for that one. Yeah, I agree, Taylor, that's amazing. So sometimes when I look at the numbers, I'm like, oh boy, I'm really excited for this next year. And then I'm like, oh boy, I'm kind of nervous for this next year. Mm-hmm. It's a double take. And so moving to, can we go to the next slide, Kristen, please? Mm-hmm. For sponsors, because I think, again, this is very telling. So we actually lost Sfsp sponsors, and that was to be expected, I think, due to the delay in waivers being allowed and just some of the barriers being removed to allow more SSO sponsors, which was most certainly we did have a loss in some of our community partners, and that is unfortunate, and we definitely need to be mindful moving forward of those gaps that are now in place to ensure that we're still hitting those children. But overall, oops, I had those full of meals and not sponsors. Sorry, guys, this is what happens when you're doing slides really fast. We had a significant increase in SSO sponsors. So by month, what did it look like for, again, we're looking at significant increases. And I think what's most telling, right, is in July, where we typically have a drop off, in August, we had our biggest increase. And that really came in with SSO sponsors. Thank you, school districts, for not stopping service. You just continued throughout the year, or throughout the whole summer and the year, really. It never just stopped for you guys. And that really helped us serve more meals than we ever have before. But also thank you to our community sponsors who kept going too and joined in some later on in the summer as well. So looking at that, that is, again, we're for the increase, and I apologize, I'm going a little slow here to this morning. We looked at an increase of meals of about 319% for the month of July, and for the month of August, it was 799%, almost 100% increase in the amount of meals served in the month of August by the state, which is just massive. Those are amazing numbers. So then moving on to what did that look like for our council, because we are members from Collin, Tarrant, and Dallas County. For both Dallas and Tarrant County, we were in the top 10% of increase for the state of Texas. We in Collin County served a significant increase as well, for a total of 466,000 meals, and Dallas served 9 million meals, and Fort Worth served 3 million. And I know there's extra numbers there, and I would love to say them, but I'm just going to round for the moment. So really, congratulations to all your sponsors. And really, I think it's a tremendous, it tells a very compelling story, right? As we look at how we want to move forward as a council in terms of like advocacy for the work that you all do and what we can do to help you continue to have these significant impacts in families' lives. This right here shows the most telling story I think we could have. So we did have a little quick poll. Did the poll work, Kristen? We were going to ask. Okay, perfect. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot the sponsors. We had more sponsors gain in Collin County, and then we had a significant increase in SSO sponsors in Dallas County. We did lose some of those sponsors in Dallas for Sfsp, and we also lost a couple in Tarrant. But again, we had a gain in SSO. So at the end of the day, they all kind of balanced out. And I think for those who reached out, thank you. We helped coordinate to ensure those sites still got service. So and now moving to the poll, because I want to be mindful of time. Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for those who joined us today. We also recognize we might have a few first timers. So if you are a first timer, please answer the question. We want to know, did you experience an increase in meals served? A few I've talked to did not. And so we would like to know kind of why that might have been. And what meal service did you utilize in the summer of 2020? And what meal service do you plan to utilize in the summer of 2021? Because I would have loved for people to unmute. You're still invited to unmute and give us your personal feedback. We open the floor to you to do that. But I also want you guys to be able to eat your lunch. So whatever works best for you.
Catherine, this is Julie. Do you mean on number 2, an increase in meals just over last summer, or?
Yes, sorry, I should have worded that better. An increase in meals from 2019 to 2020.
Okay, for summer.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was a good clarifying question. I answered mine wrong.
I'm sorry. I should have worded that better. Thank you guys. Next time I will send it.
Good job, Julie.
Flipping through our participants today, it's really great to see all of you guys. So thank you again for joining us. We also have a guest from Houston, a new statewide child hunger strategy director is here. John Footer is joining us from Houston from our Texas Hunger Initiative team. So he wanted to see what you guys are all about because I keep telling him how great you all are. So. And I really can't significantly answer these questions appropriately.
This is Carlette. I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
The numbers for Sfsp sponsors that are listed, is that like your numbers, or the people that are participating in the North Texas Summer Food Council, or is that Dallas County total?
That's Dallas County total.
Wow. Okay. I thought that number would be significantly higher.
I agree, and at one point it was. I think we've had a steady decline in sponsors the last few years.
Okay.
And I also want to notate that let's like in 2019, if we can go back to the previous slide, I believe our total meals served, I know in Dallas and Collin County was somewhere around 3 million. Yes. Well, not even quite 3 million. So, so we're talking about almost a 4 times increase based on what we traditionally see. And the numbers of 2019 are really, truly more reflective of general trends in summer meals programming.
Yes, that's a good point, Ashley. So does anyone else want to have a question or a comment, or would like to share how kind of their summer 2020 was and what you're planning to do for 2021?
Hey, Catherine, this is Ty. We definitely saw an increase in meals served at City Square with both our traditional partner sites and our mobile sites. That is entirely due to the waivers. Being able to offer multiple meals at one pickup was much more of an incentive for families to come out than just one lunch or one breakfast at a time. I think that was the biggest reason for the increase. And then of course, the second biggest was that we were able to serve non-congregate, because that's always a huge challenge, particularly for our mobile sites. We'll have kids come, and then because we say they have to stay and eat, they leave and don't take the meals. So it was a huge increase, but at the same time, we had a decrease in the number of traditional partner sites we were serving, because a lot of our smaller, well, actually, I don't know if the total was a decrease, because we did pick up some new folks, but a lot of our smaller organizations, partner sites, just weren't able to accommodate the safety needs last summer, so they weren't able to serve at all.
So are you planning on continuing the same service you had last year, Ty, because the waivers are still available? Or are you guys going to be kind of doing a mix of both?
We'll do a mix of both. And I think we had somewhat of a mix of both last summer with some of our partner sites who did have the capacity to safely have in-person service. But we will have more of our partners doing traditional service than we did last year. But our mobile sites will continue to be multi-meal type and multi-day meal services.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Anyone else? Any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Hi, this is Olga Rosenberger with Irving ISD. I totally agree with Ty. One of the things that always hindered us is that the kids couldn't take the meals off site, and they wanted to, but they couldn't. And so that made a difference. And absolutely the fact that parents could go one day, pick up for 7 days was, you know, really enhanced it. And when we could do that, we offered a gallon of milk, you know, to provide with the whole meal pack. And that was like a game changer. That 1 gallon of milk got parents out there. And so, I mean, I think that definitely those waivers that allow kids to take meals off of the site are a big difference. And the fact that we could, you know, serve multiple days worth of meals at one time was very helpful. And that's what we will continue with this summer as well.
Olga, to pick up on that, I couldn't believe the difference in going to when we switched to gallon milk. It was, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, we knew that it had been kind of an issue, but I had no idea the difference it would make. And it really did.
I mean, it was just like, wow, parents.
Yeah, it was shocking. Yeah,
we're there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were getting this really the same amount of milk, but a gallon, and that was a game changer. They were going to be there. So definitely, it's less expensive. It takes up less storage space, easier to serve, less labor to back it up. So, I mean, it was a win-win.
Is this specifically I'm sorry, is this specifically in reference to gallons of milk that were given out by sponsors, or did this have anything to do with the federal milk program through boardings that took place here locally, or was this just what you all did on your own?
When we were distributing the bulk meals, when you do 7 days and you need milk for breakfast and for lunch, it's 14 cups, but I mean, there's 16 cups in a gallon. So you give out 2 more cups, but you end up, you know, with a net positive because of, you know, the participation increase and the less, you know, space you need for storage. And so that was, the gallon was what we gave with the meal pack. We gave meal bundles that had 7 breakfast meals and 7 lunch meals. And with that, we also gave a gallon of milk instead of all the little cartons. And so that it was part of that.
So when you switched to the gallon, was that solely based off of your analysis, or did you have parental feedback that said, like, we can't take 14 small little milks, or was?
Some of it was that, some of it was because we didn't have the room. It was posing a real challenge. And so, you know, we weren't the first to do it. We saw other districts doing it successfully. And so when you put a pencil to it, you figure, and we, you know, did the calculations, that we were able to just fit more in our smaller, you know, coolers, and, you know, the cost benefit. I mean, it was less expensive to do a gallon. Yeah, parents did, you know, I'm sure have a challenging time trying to fit all those little cartons in the refrigerators, but so did we. And so, yeah, the gallon was a result of, I guess, a little bit of both.
Thank you, Olga. It's great having you here. Well, excellent. Thank you, guys. So we have this data. If anyone would like it and they would like to see even a sponsor breakdown per county, please ask us. We're happy to share it. It's all cleaned up and I can give it to anyone who requests it. And I just want to say thank you again for your continued hard effort and hard work. And we're ready for summer 2021. Let's see what it can do. All right.
I'm sorry, I have a question. not necessarily summer meals, but it's going to lead into summer. So right now, for the schools that are out there, school districts, our grab and go meal participation has been dwindling steadily. And so right now we have 8 sites that do grab and go meals on Saturday mornings. For the summer, we are going down to 4 because it's just, you know, been steadily decreasing. Now we're also going to have 7 schools that are having in-person enrichment. And so those will be open to the community as well. So, you know, children will be able to come and have their breakfast or a hot lunch, you know, grab and go style, but it'll be, you know, daily. But I'm just wondering if you all are seeing the same thing we are, because it's been challenging, you know, standing on our head, trying to make it creative and enticing, and school messenger every Friday to make sure they remember for the next day. And so I don't know what summer's going to look like. We're hoping that, you know, it will be steady and we get our repeat customers, but we have seen a considerable decline. How about y'all, Julie? Have y'all seen any change in Dallas with your grab and go packs?
Yes, as the students started returning over the course of this year, then our virtual pickups have gone down. They've been steady the last month or two at about 4,000 a week, but we're doing that over 50 sites. So starting in summer, since we will have in-person summer, and I'll go into it in a little bit more, but we're going to be willowing down our number of sites over the summer.
Yeah.
And Olga, I think that's the same for us. I mean, they've definitely, as people came back to school, they've definitely been declining. I think that's the universal issue.
Well, there may also be an inverse relationship with the PEBT benefits.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think that's a great point to highlight. And I don't think it's just happening to our school sponsors. I think our community sponsors are concerned too. I could be wrong. I would love for them to speak up on it if they were comfortable to, but I do think as parents are returning to work and, you know, we're not working from home as much, I think there is going to be a loss in maybe the pickup time, even just returning to busy chaos again. So I think that's a good point. And then I think that's a great segue into Julie and Jennifer, who are next to talk about what their summers are going to look like.
Okay, woohoo. So Julie and I kind of put this together just as a little FYI about what we're doing, which seems to be fairly similar. Can y'all hear me? Okay. And next. Okay. So Garland is in a really transitional year this year. We're switching to a new intercession calendar, which is essentially like a year-round calendar. So this is our first year of doing it, and we've had several intercession breaks. We had a fall and we had a spring, and now summer school is considered summer intercession. And to be frank, we are really struggling with staffing, because as I'm sure everybody else's staff is, ours are exhausted. And our district is having every single site, all 71 of them, open for these 8 days or 2 weeks, which pushes it back to June 25th is when Intercession ends, and my staff has to be back the last week of I think it's July 20th or something, to be to start for the new year, because due to the Intercession calendar, our first day of school is August 2nd. So that's a very short summer for those that are used to having a summer, and everybody is tired, and to be real honest, nobody wants to work, especially to staff 71 schools. So that's something that we're struggling with. We're not going to do curbside pickup, though it will end with, or at least bundled meals, that will end with the last day of school. So our last pickup is June something, and it'll go through the last day of school. And then we'll be preparing for Intercession, which some schools will have a regular hot menu prepared there, and some schools we're going to have to satellite sack lunches from a high school, where we're going to do essentially a production kitchen. All schools will be open to the community for both breakfast and lunch pickup, but we don't have the staff to bundle, and at a lot of those satellite campuses, we don't even have staff for them. So the teachers are essentially going to have to be the ones to distribute that. That's all still a little bit in flux. I know that there have been discussions sort of about it. We do have a board meeting on Tuesday. So we'll see, but that's kind of what our struggle is now. And then so we'll be operating a couple of more camps in June and July. And then, like I said, school starts. So it's a transitional year. It's a very short summer for us. We looked at partnering with the culinary students, but we're really, they want to be paid. And so we're having some issues trying to figure all that out as well. So we'll let you know. It's still a gray area, but fingers crossed.
Thanks, Jennifer. And over in Dallas, very similar. We've got to come up with a theme song. Short summer. There was a go-go song about a cool summer. This is not going to be a cool summer. This is going to be a short summer. So our educational summer. First of all, Dallas ISD's regular school year is going through June 18th this year. So right there, summer got shortened. So the 2 weeks after that will be for our educational summer school. The first week is Tuesday through Friday, and the second week is Monday through Thursday. Of course, we're going to do breakfast and lunch, and all the sites will be open for community pickup. We will have, right now we have about 50 sites doing curbside weekly for virtual students. And like I said, we're only doing about 4,000 meals a week right now with that. So we've worked with school leadership to trim that to 22 sites for June. And then again, we're going to trim that again back to 17 sites in July, and probably will be to 0 when school starts in person in August. Dallas has 3 return to school calendars this year. So like Garland, our first one is actually they're calling it a school redesign calendar, and it starts August 2nd and will go through next June. And then the next group is the Intercession calendar for Dallas, and that will start on the 9th and go through, I think it's at the end of June. And then our base calendar year will start on August 16th. So we have like 5 schools the first week, then 40 something the second week, and then everybody else that final week. And just like Jennifer said, everybody's tired, everybody's burned out. We're struggling to make sure we have enough folks over the summer. We're just rolling the menu so that they don't have to rethink and recreate and do new recipes. So from now until September, we're just continuing with the same menus. We're paring that back in the summer and for the start of school to the favorites, but just so they don't have to, try to do something new. And then, as we've always done, we use our central kitchen to provide meals for sites that are 59 students or less. And a campus person, an office manager or somebody is designated to count the meals and hand out the meals. And we provide training for that to those staff members. And right now, that's about 35 of our camp summer sites will be served out of our central kitchen. The rest will be on site. And we're looking at over 80 sites right now for summer school. So,
Hey, Julie, I have a question about that actually. So we were discussing that because we've never had to necessarily do that. Do you put those staff members, school staff members, do they need some sort of food handler training? Do they have to do that? Do you know?
We do a modified food handlers training for them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought. Mm-hmm.
And then of course, counting and claiming.
Right.
And we're still on paper with that. So we now have to pick up paper from 35 sites and enter it back in.
Yeah.
So that's what our summer is looking like. If there's any questions, any other questions? All right, I think we're ready for the next slide.
Okay, so the other thing we were asked about is how do we generate interest, or how do we encourage virtual students to come and pick up our meals? So that's been a pretty big focus for us this year. Some things have translated into in-person, but we found that social media is really the best way, and we've been doing paper menus, and a lot of them, and whenever we do like a chef crafted special, we try to do those once a cycle, once a month-ish. So our chef puts that QR code on there, and then it links to her video series, and she'll do a video about how to build each menu item or specialty item. And we have been serving those specialty items in the in-person as well, but they're really geared more towards how to make it at home. And we've gotten tons of feedback on those, and a lot of it's generally from the same people, but I think that's gone over really well. And we haven't utilized a lot of QR codes in the past, but now that we have students back in school as well, and we're doing a little bit of in-person testing for the menu for next year, we're utilizing more QR codes as well, since you can't really hand out paper comment cards or whatever anymore. We've been utilizing the QR codes mainly in high school, and that's been successful. Another thing we've done is we've done several different kind of recipe contests, and they're centered around, because you are getting a week's worth of food, they're centered around what can you do with these foods? Like, how can you, yes, we give you a menu and this is how it's supposed to be, but how do you make it? How do you reinvent it? So this one here on the bottom left is kind of what some of these winners did with the ingredients that they got, how they built them. And then another one was a smoothie contest. So you're getting all these different fruits and milks and whatever. So what do you, give us your smoothie recipes, that kind of thing. And I really do think they've helped generate some interest. I don't know that we've necessarily seen, a huge increase, but it's definitely something that's building, and we've been able to interact with our families. And I think they've felt more like that's opened it up where they can feel more comfortable to message us and ask us questions and provide feedback and stuff like that as well. That's me, I'm good. Next.
Jennifer, I love those contests. That was a lot of fun. We're doing the same things. Otherwise, we had our chefs doing, how to make something out of the kit, combining a couple of ingredients, and posted all that to social media. We even had one of our principals do a walkthrough of how the process works that we posted last summer. We worked with the district to identify the parent guardians of the virtual students and targeted our phone calls, our robocalls, our emails, texts, whatever, to them weekly as reminders. And of course, the social media. And we did do a take a picture, show us what you're doing with your food. So just everything we could think of, working with our district communications office and our campuses and our partnership services office to try to figure out how to reach the parents and let them know that it's still going on. So that's it from Dallas too. Is there any questions? Are there any questions?
I also love the ingredient contest. I think that's creative. I like that. The recipe one. That's fun.
Just want to tell both Lee and Jennifer that we love what you guys do. You all are so creative, and we often see what you all are doing and see what us little guys can do that will help us also to get the word out. I just love to see all the creative things you do.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about social media is because we do that too. I mean, we follow tons of districts and we all get ideas from each other. And so I think that's what's so great about school nutrition or child nutrition is that it's not, it's not a competition, like that we all want each other to do better. So I love that about this business.
Yes, and Olga Irving is not little, so I follow you all too. You have great ideas as well, and we even discussed moving to Saturday because you guys were distributing on Saturdays, and so we were like, well, what does Irving know about Saturday disbursements versus a midweek disbursement? So I love the fact that we can bounce ideas around and share ideas and go to each other as resources, so we can be as effective as we can be.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So thank you, everyone. If you don't have any more questions, or if you think of something afterwards, feel free to reach out to myself and Jennifer. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and Julie. I love following your social media accounts. I have it just looking at those recipes and everything that you guys share is awesome. So next we have Anna from Purple Hearts. So she's gonna talk a little bit about how to reach out to smaller communities and what are some strategies. So I'm gonna give the time to Anna. I think she's on the call. Hi, Anna. I think she might have some connection problem. So I guess we can maybe go back to her after Ty's presentation. Ty is ready to go.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. So Ty is gonna share a little bit about how to host a summer kickoff events and some tips and strategies as well.
So first of all, my name is Ty Yantz. I am Senior Manager of Food Programs at City Square, which is a nonprofit in Dallas. We operate after school and summer meals and have both traditional partner sites as well as a mobile meals program, which serves primarily apartment communities. And I want to start off by saying that me and PowerPoint were fighting yesterday when I was doing this late. So I'm sorry, Kristen, for all the buttons you have to press. And I apologize if anything is not working correctly, because I'm very glad I was the only one in the office yesterday, because I think otherwise we would have had a big problem. So I'm excited to share with y'all though some information about how to celebrate summer and events you can host specifically this year in 2021. The first and most common event that happens to celebrate summer meals is a kickoff event. The purpose with a kickoff is really to introduce your program and the meal service to the community. You get a chance to let the folks know who are in your target community, who you are, where you are, and all the necessary details about the specific meal service. But you're also increasing awareness in the broader community of the summer meals program in general, how people may find summer meals locations. Then finally, of course, you're encouraging participation by the kids who you're targeting with your meal service. So whether that's an existing program or you're doing a non-traditional site like we do with apartment communities, giving them a fun event gives them a lot more incentive to come out. And then for the record, if it's not obvious, that picture is from 2019, pre-mask. Another event that that I personally like is a midsummer spike event. I think a lot of us see trends where midway through the program, participation starts to slow. A lot of that, of course, is a lot of those national numbers or statewide numbers. Those trends are because the summer school is slowing down. If so, less kids are getting meals from the schools, but we see it as well in our non-school sites where our kids and teens just essentially get bored with it and want to stop showing up. So with the Midsummer Spike, we're reminding folks who we are and where we are, and that this is a resource that exists. At the same time, you're also able to reach new participants who maybe weren't around for the kickoff or just hadn't heard of it yet. It's another chance to give out information for your program. The way that we do it, the way that we have done our Midsummer Spike event is very different from the first ones I hosted, which were in Alabama. But the past few summers, what we have found to be really effective is to take it, to use the Midsummer Spike as an opportunity to encourage our staff. So there are a lot of different ways you can do this and a lot of different ways you can host these events. The best thing to encourage participation is to have activities that the kids and teens you're targeting just can't resist, right? So like in that first picture, the bouncy houses, which are the apartment community we were serving at, rented out for the event. Kids are not going to stay away from a bouncy house, right? So anything like that, additional meals served or additional food resources, extra activities, things that will make you noticeable and give families another reason to come out. Kickoffs, both event types are really great opportunities for media outreach, so that you're sharing what SFSP and summer meals are with the broader community, whatever the media market you're in has. Personally, I think that's really important for my purposes. I try really hard not to just share information about how to find City Square sites, because I want families to be able to find whatever site is most convenient for them. And there are a lot of great ways to do that, and media is one of those ways. We partner with a lot of different really awesome organizations to increase our reach. That happens with both partners who are providing extra enrichment activities or fun activities, like the apartment complex providing the bouncy houses, as well as folks like the council and THI and our vendor. The first summer that I worked on summer meals, again, was in Alabama at Feeding the Gulf Coast. And we did a rebrand that summer that I think is a really great example. They have a really fabulous marketing team down there that has won awards for this marketing campaign. But what is great about it is that it's unique and they used it consistently. So you see the picture, the square picture there is, the base template, but then they used those same elements in lots of different material types. So there's stickers there. My favorite, and what I thought was the kids' favorite, were temporary tattoos. There was, the kids loved the temporary tattoos that were the little strawberry with the guitar. We ran out of those temporary tattoos at the first event. They loved those. So it just incorporating those elements throughout lots of different ways, that lots of different marketing items that are going to interest kids and families. I will say I'm really big on engaging teens, and this maybe isn't like the most team friendly marketing, but at our events, we did have some fruit and vegetable photo booth props and music related photo booth props as well, like inflatable guitars. And I guess we didn't really have many high school students, but the middle school students liked that portion of it. So you can still tweak the same branding to meet the needs of different populations. Awesome. So obviously events are sensitive these days, right? We have to do it in a little different way so that we can maintain social distancing and keep our kids and our families and our staff safe. So here are some ways that you can tweak those basic principles to provide these events in a safe way and still a fun way. So instead of having events, instead of having activities like the bouncy houses that kids are obviously congregating to engage in, offering take-home enrichment activities. I know a lot of us have dealt with that through the school year to ensure that after-school meals still meets the enrichment activity component. But we had a lot of success, and thankfully, a lot of donations last year of activities we were able to send home with kids. At our kickoff last year, some amazing mother-son duo donated a ton of toy and game kits that had balls and coloring and bubbles. And I mean, the kids were so excited to see that, all these toys that they would get to bring home. So they're not playing with them at the site, so it's still safe. They get to take it home and play with it on their own terms. With our partners and media outreach last summer, we were able to host it hosts these things virtually on social media. So instead of having Catherine with THI come out to our site and risk her health, she was able to join us on an Instagram Live and share information about summer meals and THI and all that good stuff in a virtual way. And we plan to do the same this upcoming summer. Then with continuing to establish yourself with your branding, if it's quick and easy for kids and families to know who you are and where you are, that means they're going to spend less time looking for you and less time out and about when it's not necessarily safe to do so. Some ways we do that. Last summer, all of our canopies that our team set up to serve under were bright orange, which matched the branding on our vans, which are orange and yellow, which also matched our t-shirts, which were orange and gold. So keeping that bright, noticeable color meant that as soon as somebody saw the bright orange and yellow van coming through, they knew who it was. And then when they came outside to look for us, they could see the bright orange canopy, know where to go. And then they could see our staff in the orange shirts and know that this is the people that they need to go see. And I think personally, any time we can reduce them looking for us is a benefit for safety in the pandemic, but also to make sure, in a normal summer, to make sure that they get to the site on time instead of, in our case, walking around the apartment communities trying to find us. So then finally, a few more details. With Kickoff, we find it's best to wait to host it when the program is up and running. So we don't want to have those first week jitters when we're trying to also host an event. So you want it to be at the beginning of your program, but not the first day. During Kickoff, saturating the community with your marketing is a great opportunity. You get a chance, because you have so many more people coming out for the fun event, you get a chance to give more people your flyers or your whatever marketing materials you have that you're giving out for the summer. And Kickoff events can also target the whole family. Again, that same apartment community that provided the bouncy houses also grilled and served meals to parents and other adults. So it was a full community event rather than just something that was good for the kids. So we were able to broaden our audience and reach even more folks. With the Midsummer Spike, again, we've been doing this by reminding our teams why they're doing what they're doing. With the mobile program, they're out in the heat for way too long for 8 hours every day serving outside. So we like to give them thank you cards from kids so that they get that heartwarming moment where they remember why they're doing what they're doing. And also just showing them our appreciation for them and celebrating their work. With Midsummer Spike, you can also offer some unique incentives to participants. This is a great time to, again, offer additional food, food for families, or have partners come out and provide different services so that they have more than one reason to come out, and you get more people, and again, can remind them what you're doing and where you're doing it. And then of course, that's a chance for another round of marketing, potential for media outreach, and getting your brand and the information about your sites out there to everyone you possibly can. So please feel free to ask me any questions, and there's my email address if you would like to reach out to me there. I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has them.
Thank you so much, Ty, for sharing those valuable information. And next we'll have Mel. She is one of our leadership team members as well. And then she also recently just joined this Small Business Leadership Team Council. So she's gonna talk a little bit about what that means and how would it be beneficial for our council as well. So,
hi guys. Hope you guys are doing well today. Thanks for the opportunity to allow me to share my newest council membership position with you guys. So a couple of months ago, I was contacted by NSBA, and it was a contact email asking if I would be interested in being a part of their leadership council. They kind of knew a lot about what I do. I'm not really sure if you guys all know what I do in addition to being the executive director of the Josh Howard Foundation, where we provide summer and after school meals. But I also have the Mel Inc. Foundation, where my main focus is domestic violence and helping with like community outreach and bridging the gap between consumers and the community so that we can all work together to accomplish the same goal. And that's help, you know, underserved communities and build them up, and to make sure that the kids have what they need as far as like a stable home, good nutrition, and just a healthy environment all around. So with that being said, just to give you guys a little bit about the NSBA. NSBA is a leadership group it consists of small business owners who make up the grassroots of the network. The council was created at the direction of the NSBA's Board of Trustees. And what it allows for us to have visible business community on a local, state, or national level. So the Leadership Council basically works towards representation in every congressional district, with the hopes of having a member in every district that can help promote different types of funding and sources for small businesses in that district. So, Kristen, if you can go to the next slide.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
To give you guys a quick rundown of what we do, we bolster NSBA lending, we support robust small business contracting, improve access to credit, rein in the cost of healthcare, enact tax reform. We also close the partisan divide and reform policy, improve workforce training, regulatory reform and paperwork reduction, strengthen federal innovation programs. And it's on the next slide, Kristen. I'm just kind of going through them just to kind of give you guys a synopsis. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, thank you. And I was on number 10, oppose counterproductive minimum wage increases, and 11, support fair and simple capital gains in Texas. So just to kind of give the overview of all of that, my particular groups of interest are economic development and human resources. And so the way that I feel that this would be a great thing for the Leadership Council and the General Council is because outside of what we do with our normal, you know, summer meals, summer CACFP and Sfsp programs, if you have any additional businesses that you run, like myself, it gives you access to someone that can go in if there's different issues and different things. And even with some of the feeding programs and things that we do, if there's issues or if there's additional funding sources that we feel would be beneficial, especially with like community partners and like the food banks and things like that, then you guys can get with me. And those are things that I can bring to the other members of my leadership council, and we can discuss them and talk about how we can get them in front of Congress to get different laws and things in place to help small businesses and even possibly help with the programs that we do through Texas Department of Agriculture. So I really feel like, you know, it's good to have a great sounding board and an active voice that you can have a direct connection to help further the causes that we promote every day. And so this last slide has my contact information, and it also has the contact information for NSBA. So if you guys have any additional questions, or if there's any way that I can help, any specific area of interest, do contact me and let me know. If there's ever anything that I could use you guys as feedback on, I'll always reach out and ask. I've been taking time going out to different small businesses, just getting acquainted with those business owners so that I can hear firsthand how we can help them. Because even with the Josh Harrell Foundation, there's so many things that we do, so many other programs that Josh has in place outside of our feeding programs. So even though we are a community-driven nonprofit, we still do other things in addition to that, that is big in helping us continue to keep people employed. Had we not been allowed to still feed during the pandemic, then, you know, my leadership council is the group that helps us to continue to keep funding to keep our employees employed. If TDA would have said we don't have the funding to continue to reimburse the meals so that you guys can continue to keep your staff employed. So that would have allowed us to be able to have the resources to carry us over in the meantime. So if you guys have any questions, or if there's any input that you have that you feel can make me better at what I do, I appreciate having a plethora of people and such a great network of people here that can help me be the best that I can be there. So thank you today for letting me present that.
Thank you so much, Mel. And next we'll have Taylor from the North Texas Food Bank. She's also one of the co-chairs for our Child Hunger Action Team, and she'll be sharing a little bit about what summer promotional materials that we have available for you to request and order. I'll give the time to Taylor.
Hello, I am sort of overwhelmed with all the awesome information that's been shared this morning. Ty, I love the midsummer spike. I love that. Not just re-engaging the kids, but also your staff. I think that's so important. So like Kristen said, I help to co-chair the Child Hunger Action Team, and we are hosting a virtual summer meals kickoff event on June 4th. So be on the lookout for that invite. But there will also be an email coming your way, actually a jot form sent to all members that will outline the materials that we have available. So some materials from previous years from TDA, as well as some new yard signs and door knockers, or not door knockers, but the little info sheets that you guys can leave around to advertise your programs. We also have some grant money to buy some materials just for enrichment. So that will also be included on the jot form, the Google form, which you guys can order. So there will be a lot more information in that Google form, but pickup will be at THI and by appointment only, which is very interesting and fun. So we hope that you guys attend that kickoff meeting and take advantage of some of the materials that we have to offer to help bolster the awareness in your neighborhoods about your programming. That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Taylor. And next, I think actually one of our co-chair for our council, she's gonna talk a little bit about the United Way enrichment grants. If she's available to unmute.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Just a little bit about this process for all of our new members that we may have. Continuing members, you all know the drill on this. Every year we have the opportunity to provide small, what we have historically called mini grants, but they're enrichment grants to supplement summer meals programming. We know that some of the costs for summer meals providers in general are not generally covered under the federal reimbursement and/or are not allowable costs. And so the goal with the enrichment grants, they generally range from $2,500 to $5,000. And the goal there, which is an increase this year, because generally they are, I believe, $15,000 to $3,000. But the goal there is for us to be able to help supplement some of the costs that you have associated with programming that USDA and TDA generally does not cover. And also we know, there are enrichment activities that many programs like to provide to their students during the summer, whether it be educational. We know this year it's going to be working to re-engage many of the students that we lost as a result of COVID, and communities and families as well. And so, we just want to be able to provide that as a resource for our council. That is, one of the benefits of being a member of the council. So with that said, just to kind of reiterate, you must be a current active member of the North Texas Summer and Supper Council to apply. We will be getting out applications over the next couple of weeks. They'll be sent out, and organizations may have the opportunity to opt in and apply. And from that point, our North Texas Summer and Supper Council leadership team goes through a review process where we determine who all will be awarded for this year. And so, that's just a little bit about our enrichment grants program, and we hope that you all apply this year to help support some of your efforts.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing this opportunity, and hopefully you guys will be able to apply. And that will conclude our meeting for today. And if you want to stay here for a little bit to just do some networking, like asking questions, our speakers will be able to answer the questions that you have. And if not, feel free to just use the coupon to order your lunch for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the meeting, and we'll see you guys in the fall. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much.